all the whimsy stuff that you see at the thrift store, and you're like, who ever had that in their house? Those are the things we're like, we need that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Look at that vase. It's like totally ornate and bizarre. Children need that. Hello, and welcome back to Tales from Wildwood Podcast. We are your hosts, registered early childhood educators and forest and nature practitioners, Rachel, Jenna,
Sarah.
And Talita.
Before we dive in, we would like to read our land acknowledgement.
We honor and respect the first peoples of this land, which encompasses the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, Hurro-Wendat, and Haudenosaunee nations. We also recognize the traditional and unceded territories of the Mohawk and Algonquin nations, where we gather today.
We are so excited that you are here to join us today on episode 5. We will be talking about repurposed materials and sustainability. But before we get into that, I have a little something
Okay.
after a bet that we had done.
Oh.
Mushroom clothing. And she made it 21 days. This little 21-day mushroom pin. And that's to signify that she went 21 days since the last recording. Oh, what was that? The beginning of June on a Tuesday. She went 21 days wearing a different article of mushroom clothing. And then I caught her at program one morning and I had to race her to her car because she was wearing normal clothing and we were talking about the podcast and they said, oh, and she goes, yeah, I'm supposed to be, I wear mushroom clothes. And then she looked down and she wasn't wearing anything mushroom. And I looked at her. I was like,
My sweater was in the car.
her sweater was in the So then I start running and all of a sudden all these parents think something's wrong. And I start running and she starts booking it to her car and she grabs the sweater and puts it on. She's like, this counts. And that was day 21.
Okay.
Melted it there.
Yeah, because it's a little hot to wear sweaters.
So hot to wear sweater.
It was
don't
a
wanna
cool
cause
day.
any heat.
It was a cool day.
I feel like you could have went longer if you didn't wear multiple mushroom things for each outfit.
I didn't even count my socks. I don't know whether to be
That was
proud.
planning.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know whether to be proud or embarrassed.
It's a pretty big deal.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I thank you. I'm honored. I'm honored for this award. I will cherish it.
Now try and beat it.
I don't know if I can. I think parents started to wonder why I showed up every day in mushroom stuff. They started to notice.
I didn't notice the parents noticing.
Well, we told everybody in the office, so everybody knew.
Yeah. It was stressful getting dressed in the morning.
So there you go. I've been working on that and I showed Tita the other day. And then I was trying to hint to you what my idea was.
Oh, I didn't
But
catch.
you didn't catch on.
But I trust you. I was like, oh, go with whatever.
So also a couple of weeks ago now, we were at an early on conference, which was fabulous. It was hosted by Hastings County. And one of our speakers was Louise Delanoy, who is the ED for Outdoor Play Canada. And she had a fabulous morning talk. I guess she did the afternoon as well, about risky play and the importance of it and bringing that into childcare centers and bringing it into home childcare. And she showed a lot of photos that had different types of repurposed materials that they were using. And she had a before photo and then she would show an after photo and discussed about the different learning that was happening with these other rich materials. So I thought we could chat about that a little bit, maybe talk about what kind of repurposed materials we're using at our different programs. Yeah. So what is a repurposed material?
So we are repurposed materials. Hold on. I said repurposed.
You also said we are.
We are repurposed. Okay. We both have been sunbaked all morning. Our brains are like toasty.
Yeah, it's a hot day.
It's a hot day.
So what is a repurposed material?
I guess the easiest definition would be a material that is used not for really its intended purpose. In our programs, any outdoor program, we have a lot of old kitchen materials. Big spoons, ladles, colanders, tongs, um, different various metals or wicker, a lot of baskets,
Plastic crates.
plastic crates. What do we said the unsung hero of outdoor play.
You can store stuff in them. You can carry them around. You can
Use
sit on them.
use them as steps and jump off.
Steps. We used to also use them back in the day. We'd have multiple crates and we would use them with a piece of wood flooring or a wooden plank and use it as either a bridge to actually walk across or use it to set up materials so that they look nice.
Yeah, like a makeshift table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're also a great storage bucket for at home or at centered to childcares to hold the toys outside that so the water can be drained
Yes,
as well.
avoiding mold and mildew
And rust.
and rust, especially if you're using those metal materials.
Yeah.
And wooden spoons. We use a lot of wooden spoons. And I find you want to
Take
store
care.
them somewhere where you can let them air out when they're done playing with them in the water.
Yeah. I find we kind of based on what location we're at, we use different repurposed materials. So at South Potters Creek, we'll use a lot of metals because we can dry those out.
And
Where-
different colored metals.
Different
We like it to look appealing to the eye. So we have thrifted rose gold. I guess that would be the color of it, the rose gold metal bunt pans. I have that. Oh, I had that score of a deal where I found that gold colored, what was it, a bread
pot?
pot?
Yeah.
The lid? Although the lid is still missing. The lid has been missing for a year. I don't know. That'll turn up one day. It'll get washed
It's
ashore.
in the Atlantic.
Ugh. One day it'll just reappear on the shoreline. But colored metals are very catching to the eye.
Yeah. And we're in places like the Frank Center. We use a lot of wicker and wood because we don't have water there. Like we don't where we set our materials, we don't have access to water. So we don't have to worry about mold. So another thing to think about, based on your space, what kind of repurposed materials you want to offer so that they are sustainable for a long period of time.
And what about we have programs at Battawa?
Mm-hmm. Battawa could be either or because we're in sand. So we have wood, we have metal, not so much wicker. The sand kind of.
You know what I really
It's
liked that you
stuck.
guys had at Battawa was the dinner trays that had the legs on them.
Yes.
So you could set it up on the sand and it was kind of like the fold out.
The ones that
dinner tray
became
with
a
the legs.
stool and then no, it's just a plate.
Yes.
Those ones, yes.
But yeah. Repurpose.
Repurpose. We repurposed the repurposed material.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talita and I have a lot of fun going to shop for repurposed materials too.
Yeah.
A lot of good thrifty
We love
finds.
that good thrift find. Give us some budget and we'll go to the thrift store.
Yeah.
Spend all afternoon shopping.
Yeah.
But that means we don't spend as much and we get a lot.
It's true. And then it lasts for a very long time.
Yes.
So that kind of merges into sustainability. We'll kind of maybe merge the two of them together throughout the whole conversation that we're having today.
Yeah.
But
They go hand in hand.
sustainability, they do go hand in hand. But with sustainability, when we're thrifting things, they do last longer.
And it also helps the kiddos see that materials are not just one use. It gives that open-ended play aspect and remodeling that as well.
And also
This one day, that the other day.
yeah. And same with the families, with parents, like you don't have to go out and buy the expensive beach set with the bucket and the fancy scoops, where if you've got old spoons and pots and pans, you could throw that into a basket and that is just as good. And if not more sensory rich.
And it's not as sad when you forget it at the beach.
Yeah, easily replaced because it didn't cost a lot to purchase.
Going off what Jenna said that the children can see that it's not one time use. We do that in our programs with planning too. Like we put the same material over and over for them to see and be able to use it. Because our programs are once a week, sometimes in those locations, some families only go to that location, so they only come to our program once a week. That child plays with that toy or that material one time, and next time they come, a lot of times they're like, "Oh, I'm looking for it. I'm gonna play with that. I'm gonna build this. I'm gonna do that." And he wants to expand on that play that he didn't finish the last time. And then he gets there, "Oh, we changed everything. There's nothing there." So he just throws them off. Children thrive on routine, as we all know. So having consistency too can help them thrive in their play and help them uh, have the continuous of their ideas. They can build on it. And we as educators can observe and help them through that process. And then we include materials that can help them going forward in that play. But it's really important to give them that chance of using the material more than once.
Yeah. How many times do our little Wildwood friends show up to program and they already have a plan?
Yeah.
They already know what they want to do and what materials they need to do it. So yeah, importance of repetition.
Mhm. Same with repetition, it brings like a whole centered of growth. So it can touch on gross motor, it can touch on fine motor, it can touch on cognitive skills with that one repurposed material.
Yeah, because repetition builds, strengthens those neurons in the brain, right? We know that the more you do something, the stronger those neurons become. And that's what they're working on when they go back to that material that they wanted to use. They're just strengthening that connection.
And also repetition with, again, the same space, becoming familiar with the space, familiar with the educators, familiar with the tools. I have an example of one of our little friends who this week on Friday was at Wildwood, and he decided that that was the day he was going to be mining. So he went straight to Pebble Beach. I don't even think he lingered at the table for he was gone.
Go.
Pebble Beach was the plan. The plan was mining today. So we went right down to Pebble Beach. We had all of our repurposed material set out on top of the crates. We had a few pieces of flooring, old, or I guess it was new flooring that just wasn't pieces of flooring. So we have those out that we kind of display things on. And he found the spoons that he needed. He got mom set up, baby sister set up. They all had spoons and they were mining for gemstones and what were they going to find. So then they would use a little colander. We had like one of those colander spoons.
Mhm.
The one of the spoon, like the pasta spoons that has the holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was using that to shake it and see what gems he could find. But then the digging continued all morning and it turned into a river. So then he was building a river and other little friends were noticing. So they were going and grabbing the buckets that we have down there, just little buckets, and they were going to fill them up with water. And they would ask him if they could dump it. And he'd say yes. And he'd show them exactly where they were supposed to dump it. They'd dump it, they'd go, he'd keep digging, and they'd go get more water. So then this was cooperation. This is teamwork. This was communication with other peers, and some of these other children were 2, they were 4. And we even had, because school's out now, we had some older children joining us too that have already been in JK or SK. And one of them came over and they brought this plank of flooring and they asked him if he wanted to use it. He said, I wonder what we could do. Let's build a bridge. So then they put it down across their little river and they were practicing walking along it, and it was one of those moments where you just kind of sit back and you're watching all the little puzzle pieces fit together and you're seeing all the learning that's happening and you're just like, ah, this is why I do what I do. I love this. Look at it happening. It's beautiful. And they had such a good time. And we found a lot of quartz. So I think we're all very lucky in that circumstance.
This is the nice time of year when we have our older Wildwood friends attend because they bring those big ideas. So when we have our 5 and 6 year olds who are done kindergarten for the year and they come to Wildwood for the summer, they really kind of pull thinking and ideas from our younger friends, which is really nice because that co-learning and
and cooperation, like you said. I like those. That was a good Friday.
It was a very good Friday.
What about anybody else with repurposed materials? We also use them inside. If you attend any of our family space programs, we have indoor and outdoor programs. So if you're interested in checking out our website, familyspacequinny.com, you'll find the updated calendar that has all of our information. But inside, even in our gym spaces, Toledo runs programs in gym spaces. They use a lot of repurposed materials for different activities as well,
Yeah.
for big body movement and fine motor.
Yeah, we do have the flooring pieces there too. We bring tires. Anything is really goes with whatever idea we have when we're planning, because there you have to be creative. And if you are not a creative person, go to Pinterest. Because I think it's important to have that skill. And if you don't have that skill, you need to try to go around it or try to develop it. Because if you're an educator and if you're doing planning, you have to think outside the box. You have to see a material. Like when I was in school, one of the assignments that we have during our placement is to bring in an experience and program, right? And I I am a very creative person. So
you are.
Yeah.
I was in a grocery store and I saw a box that had a bunch of holes in it, like circle holes all over the box, all sides. I looked at that box. I was like, that box is very different. What can I do with that box? So I brought the box home and I just knew I wanted to use that box. I didn't know exactly what to use for it, but I held on to the box. That's also a problem for educators because they hold on to a lot of garbage.
Orders.
Yes.
All the partners will agree to this.
Yes.
But I used it. I was in infant toddler room. So there were kids that were trying to pick things. And what I did was I just put a bunch of pieces of fabric. I went to the thrift store, grabbed a bunch of fabric, cut it up, and just stuff it in the box. And then I taped the box. So the only way to get it out was through the hose. So that was the activity. I brought it in. And honestly, it's still there to this day in my house. Sometimes I will bring out programs.
A good old box.
A box. Yeah. So it is really being creative, and especially when you see things that are different. When you see something that is different, you just look at it and it's like, what can I do with this? Challenge yourself to see what can that little box or tire or spoon or whatever it is that you see can turn into. And if you don't know, you could always just put it out there for the children and they will show you how to use it.
I was going to add on to that. If you don't have that creative mindset, just being confident with yourself and trying items, and don't feel like there's a silly idea to repurpose an item, put it out, see how it goes, add
Yeah.
some more loose parts. The kiddos will take it from there. And that might spark your ideas to the next scaffolding on the next exercise. But don't be afraid to just try what you think might have a reaction with the kiddos, and it might go the way that you planned. It might go a different way, but either way, it is bringing out the creativity and the learning for the kiddos.
Yeah, definitely. The kids, they'll show you the way.
Even, I know we talk a lot about metals and wood and wicker materials that we use, but we still use plastic materials in our programs. When you guys were talking about repurposing things, my brain went to the 4 old pool noodles I had at my house that were just sitting there sad, and we don't even have a pool. The one day it was okay, you're covering at this location. Didn't have time to really talk to my partner until we got there, and I said, "I'm gonna cut up these pool noodles. We'll just cut these pool noodles up. We've got some shaving cream, or if you're outside and you've got mud, and you can just use these little tiny I don't even know, cool little donuts things for stacking, for sticking things together, for creating bridges, all kinds of different things. So even things that aren't natural materials can be repurposed materials, which is lovely.
Yeah.
Agree.
I think that can go into we can talk about not being scared of plastic there.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. See? That's a
Because
segue.
not everything is going to be made of wood, wicker, and metal. We have things that are plastic, and it's okay. We do have our magnifiers are plastic, or the snow saws
Mhm.
are plastic.
Our compasses.
Our compasses are plastic, and they are new materials that we buy for programs, but they do have a purpose. We like them being the bright color plastic so we can find them, because those are materials that children use during their exploration. They go out for the walks, they go out into the forest, and sometimes kids will leave things out there or drop it or something, and you want to be able to find them. So if they're bright color, it's easy to see them. What else?
The ropes.
Well, yeah, ropes are always new for safety purposes, right?
And bright colors.
And yes, we like to use polypropylene rope. Um, we tried natural ropes in the past. They're hard on the hands, you get rope burn, and they're hard to see. Like, um,
Camouflage.
yeah, yeah, jute rope on a forest floor will never be seen again.
And then we forget them there.
Yeah, and then the birdie's taking them off away. Um, but yeah, find a lot of our tools are plastic and bright colors. Our magnifiers, our tweezers, compasses.
Mhm.
Those are new and those are bright colors. Yeah, and I think that's important though to know that not everything has to be secondhand.
Mhm.
Sometimes for safety purposes, we buy things new to make sure that they are in good working order so that injuries don't occur. Do you remember we were at Battle, I think, and the kids were using a spoon to dig in the sand? And the mom was kind of like, why are we using spoons and not like trowels and such? And I pulled something from my past career. But we talked about how like using spoons to dig is also a precursor to learning to feed yourself because you're using that motion. And since the child already has a spoon in their hand, that transition is also easier because they're already used to seeing that tool. Um, and so that was a really interesting conversation there on why we also use repurposed materials. Sustainability, yes, but also this time was fine motor development as a precursor to feeding themselves.
Mhm.
So it was interesting. That was, yeah, my past career.
With
There's
a
a lot of
spoon?
knowledge in that head of yours.
I'm a what is it? Lifelong learner.
I think we're all lifelong learners.
Mhm.
Most people who go into this field are lifelong learners, educators.
Yeah.
I think you have to be. I think you have to be in like a cause profession.
We've talked a lot about repurposed materials, what types we use, where we can get them in your home, thrift stores. You can buy them new if you needed to. Um, but we haven't really touched on is how we set up those materials. So it's not as if we're just going to throw a whole bunch of things on the forest floor, but how do you set up, Gemma? You're setting up repurposed materials at a space.
I like to set up a provocation for the kiddos and for the parents. It gets the parents engaged as well. I like to have different heights to the different materials. They can be on buckets, they can be on baskets. There can be just like a little centered maybe a tea party and you're using little cups and the spoons and you're kind of setting up an invitation for the children to play and engage in. It's not, this is what you have to do with these materials, but it just kind of gives an inviting feeling for everyone to come and play and explore. And it will spark their curiosity to start engaging and see on where they dive in and take the learning to.
I think too, depending on the location, there's sometimes fallen trees or big rocks and stuff that you can also use. So using the environment that's around you, whether you're inside or outside, if you have stumps or whatever, like you said, propping them up on heights and everything. So using the environment because the environment is also a teacher. That was one of my favorite things talking about in school. The environment is also it's a third teacher in the room. So using that also to your advantage. So setting up your pot or your colander or your little whimsy, my brain is thinking of like a whimsy bowl or something with like
Goblet.
a
Goblet,
goblet,
yeah.
all the whimsy stuff that you see at the thrift store and you're like, whoever had that in their house? Those are the things we're like, we need that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Look at that vase. It's like totally ornate and bizarre. Children need that. But using the environment, so using that also to help you set up your provocations.
Well, you're never gonna find happier forest co-educators than when they find a log in the middle of the forest or a plank or a piece of wood that is just so perfect.
Or something that's washed ashore.
Yep.
Score.
Wow.
The fence.
Yes.
Or something that looks like something, like your dragon piece of driftwood in the office. It's not even outside to play, but you have it
That's the guardian
in
of the
there.
of
I
the
know.
forest. It's the guardian of our
I'm
desk.
sorry. So he's staring at me. But it's also, I think it's Talita who mentioned Pinterest. Don't get discouraged. Sometimes Pinterest, they might look of these perfect setups and everything is um not like there's a certain amount of things out. It's all equal and it's beautiful. Setups don't have to be perfect. They can have a little funk to them. They can be a little spunky.
A little eccentric.
Yeah. Just like us. Just like us.
Yeah.
Just like us.
I think also another thing about setting up, when you're setting up the space, you need to think like a child.
Yeah.
You need to put yourself and their little feet and be like shoes. I mean, what is the saying? Put it on someone else's shoes.
Yes. Walking in somebody else's shoes.
Well,
Yeah.
Put it on their little tiny shoes and pretend you're the child and think, what would I like to play? And then you set up. Like,
Get down at their level and see what they're going to see.
yeah.
As equally important as the materials we use, I think also the language that we use with it. Um, I think this is a good way to add descriptive language to their learning because we put a lot of thought into the materials that we choose. Um, so we have those beautiful shiny metals. We have the smooth wooden bowls. We have the bumpy wicker baskets.
I think with the descriptive language, also having the open ended part of it, not blocking off, we dig with a spoon. Well, there's a lot of other things that we can do with a spoon and describing what you're seeing. Oh, I can see you're using the spoon end to poke a hole or just kind of saying what you're observing of the children. And that might even spark like to another direction.
Yeah. Talking about what you notice is a nice way to demonstrate to families what their child is learning. Saying, I notice, or so and so is using this in a creative way. Really thinking outside the box, using problem solving and imagination, right? And because some parents don't necessarily see what we see because we're trained to see things a little differently, right? So yeah, really having that open communication with both the children and the adults. is important. And the loose parts and repurposed materials, I always find is such a nice way to get families who are not comfortable in the forest. Uh, because some families come in and the forest can be a little daunting if you this is not how you grew up, then you just see trees amongst trees amongst trees and don't know what to do. But when we set up these repurposed materials, it's kind of like a, okay, well, we can do this. We know this. And then they get comfortable with the repurposed materials and then they'll start venturing off into the forest when they get more comfortable being in that space, right? That first forest rule principle, repeated and regular exposure to the same natural space over a long period of time. And this is how some families really warm up to the idea of exploring in a forest.
And when they do that too, a lot of the time they'll come in and the comfort place is going down to Pebble Beach. They know what they're getting when they get down there. They know they've got the repurposed materials. They know they can set their baby down for like a couple minutes and they're going to be fine, kind of regulate themselves. But then the kids start playing together and they start making friends. And then, like you said, that's how they then wander into the woods. They then start to actually fully immerse themselves in the program. I was just wondering from a child's perspective, when going to Potter's Creek and playing outside, is there a toy that's really, or a tool or an object that's really fun to play with when going to Potter's Creek? Buckets are fun. Yeah, buckets are really fun.
Some water, some rocks. Sometimes they become treasure buckets and you find all your goodies and put them in. Or stew.
Yeah.
Food. This is why we're starving at lunch.
This is a funny story from last year. Everyone who knows me knows I have allergies.
Oh,
This is funny. So last summer, August, ragweed season is in it's just the height of its time for ragweed. And I am suffering greatly.
That's an understatement.
And my poor little friend who comes to program noticed that I was suffering. I think he noticed at a program previously because then all weekend he talked about to his whole family. Poor Rachel at Wildwood has allergies. So so like on Friday, mom's telling me he was very concerned about you all weekend. He was telling everybody that you have allergies to ragweed. And I thought that's so thoughtful of him and kind. There's our relationship building. We built our relationship and he cares about me and he's worried about me. And he goes, I'm gonna make you something to make you feel better. Okay, so Sarah's sitting across from me. We're down at Pebble Beach. He's got this bucket, he's got a big spoon, and he's got some water in there, and he's going to find different ingredients to make me feel better. And then he brings it over to me and he goes, here, Rachel, this is gonna help your allergies and make you feel better. What was in that pot, Sarah?
Oh, ragweed.
It was all
100%.
I don't think he didn't realize. Sometimes people won't identify it afterwards. And I'm looking in this bucket, and it is a bucket of water and ragweed. It's like trying to scoop it with a spoon and offer me spoons full of it.
Oh my gosh, you were crying. You had so many. So your allergies were so bad. You were crying.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll step in. I'll step in. Tag me. I don't get seasonal allergies. I'm fine.
But you don't need it. It's for Rachel.
It's her medicine.
Yes.
Exposure, right? Exposure to the animal will help get rid of the allergies.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's another bonus of repurposed materials they could be used to help.
Help
Yeah.
your seasonal allergies.
Yeah.
Repurposed materials. You heard it here, folks.
I think a full circle of using repurposed materials would also follow in after. We've done, we found them, we've set them up, we're engaging with the kiddos, we're prompting conversation, we're listing out different emotions, allergies, but also now we can document while we're exploring with the materials. At Wildwood, there is a book that has some things that happen in documentations that you're able to read about and look at the pictures and everything, add to it as well. We also post on our social media, but also as an educator, if you're using those materials outside and you have an indoor classroom, which we don't, not connected to Wildwood, but in a center, you can bring those pictures back and carry on that learning with those repurposed materials, and the kids can recognize and see themselves exploring those materials posted up on the walls at child level and continue their learning indoor in the classroom and then back outside again as well.
I think it's what is interesting about centers too is when, at least when I was working in centers, nobody treats the outside, the yard, like they treat the inside. Like inside, they will set up the room, put out materials, plan for the inside, but then outside, it's really most of the time you bring the kids out, go play, and then bring out stuff from the shed or whatever type of cupboard you have, and the kids kind of do their own thing. Um, but when we have the outdoor mentality, we're planning for outside. We are going outside with purpose. Then you get more out of it. You get more benefits out of it. The children um, get those benefits. You will see less behavior. You will see children more engaged, less like arguments and fighting between kids or problems with sharing materials. When there are a lot of planning and setting up, you can see the difference between that the children engagement with the material than without that.
Yeah. Yeah. Self-regulation is a lot easier outside
Yes.
than indoors.
Yeah.
100%.
But it is also because there is intention, not just because it is outside, just you get the fresh air, you get the benefits, all of that. But when you have intention and when you're going outside with purpose, you get a lot more.
And with that intention, we're using our repurposed materials
Yeah.
to help direct their learning.
Yeah.
And the wow you get too from the parents sometimes when they come down in the morning and they see what you've set up and they go, wow, I didn't ever think to put a muffin tin with some rocks and flowers or grass or finding materials that are around the outside to help them then be more innovative, and they can look at the area around them to see what else they can pull. They can pull acorns. We were mentioning loose parts earlier. Acorns and pine cones and flowers and sticks. Those are all loose parts,
But not black walnuts.
but not black walnuts.
And if you don't have that in your yard, you can always bring it. Just go for a walk, collect all of that fun stuff, and bring it in the yard.
Walk with the kids.
Go on a nature hunt. Walk with them. What can you find?
What can we
Bring it
use in
back.
our
Bring a
outdoor space?
basket.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, most of our buckets end up being treasure buckets anyways.
Yeah.
The kids take them on a walk and they collect all their treasures that they found and then bring them back. Tell us all about them.
Mm.
So thinking about sustainability with these repurposed materials and we're getting those children outside, we are helping the land because we're using materials that have been repurposed. We're not buying new things and putting more things into landfills. So that's helping it that way. But we're also helping children and their parents and all the families build resiliency and helping foster that environmental stewardship. So they're becoming more intrinsically motivated to get outside because they're realizing, oh, I have these things at home. I can just take them out in the backyard and I can use them. They're becoming more aware of their surroundings and that connection to the land, um, which is one of the things we'll be talking about in a later episode are about different relationships to the land.
Yeah, because when it comes to outdoor learning too, a big piece of that is the land. The land is our teacher and
Mhm.
outside. So we want to really bring back the knowledge of who was in this land originally, who were the stewards of this land, and we bring that slowly to the children in our programs. But really big part of that is building that relationship with the land, being respectful, knowing what you're playing with and where it came from and where is it going to and what could happen. Even just with the kids when we're outside, picking up garbage outside when we see it, and the kids asked about why are you picking up that? Why are you picking up this bottle? Then just having those conversations, right? Because this is not supposed to be here. If it is here, where is it gonna end up? And having questions back and forth, open-ended questions, and having them figure it out with your guidance. What is the purpose of that and where is it going to? So when they start to notice and learn that naturally, they will connect back to the land and they'll be more respectful to the land. And this way, just be better citizens on general.
What do we say? The little nature lovers grow to become big nature lovers.
Yeah.
And if our little nature lovers don't learn to love, appreciate, and respect the land, then who was going to fight for it and who was going to take care of it in future generations?
Mhm.
I think one of the many things that stood out to me as a parent, but now I get to teach that to others, is when you guys always said, "We don't pick the first one and we don't pick the last,"
Mhm.
as well. So with repurposed materials, my kids love to gather flowers or leaves or things that are in nature, but I was missing that concept of we don't pick the first and we don't pick the last. I was, "Oh, it's there. It's beautiful. We can use what has been given to us already," and just changing my mindset a little bit of respecting and to continue on with the nature. We can't pick it all. I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah.
Mm,
But we're going to go more into that in future episodes.
yes.
Yeah, that's a whole other.
Yeah, it's a whole episode of.
Whole nother kettle of fish. Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Before we end, though, I found a quote. I do love my quotes.
Mm-hmm.
This one is by Penny Whitehouse, who is the passion behind the website Mother Nature, which she's based out of Australia, but she has so many fabulous ideas and resources on her website, different things that you can do outside with your children. And here's the quote. It is restore balance. Most kids have technology, school, and extracurricular activities covered. It's time to add a pinch of adventure, a sprinkle of sunshine, and a big handful of outdoor play.
Amen.
And with that being said, until next time,
Happy exploring.
for more information about our Wildwood programs, please check out our Wildwood Forest and Nature Early On program on Facebook. The same is for Instagram. Or for any other Family Space Early On programs, you can check out our Family Space Facebook page or our website, www.familyspacequinny.com.